Bismillah walhamdulillah wa salatu wa salam ala rasulillah amma ba'd. The great companion Salman al-Farisi radiallahu ta'ala an has such a beautiful background story, how he reached Medina and got to know the Prophet alayhi salatu wa salam. This is a man who, as a young man, came from Persia by the pure guidance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, step by step, until he reached Medina in ways that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala set it up for him. And when he finally reached Medina, he was already aware that the last and final messenger was coming. You see, his last teacher, who was a monotheist Christian, someone who was still following the authentic teachings of Isa alayhi salatu wasalam, while he was passing away, Salman al-Farisi asked him, where do you advise me to go next? Who can I go to continue to learn the tradition? And he responded and said, look, I know no one else who's continuing to teach the pure religion of Isa alayhi salam. And that means the last and final messenger is about to come out. So go to Arabia. So this man knew that the Prophet was going to come out from Arabia. And so Salman goes down to Arabia. And things happen until he's sold as a slave to someone in Medina. And when the Prophet ﷺ immigrated and entered Medina, Salman wanted to test the Prophet to see if he's actually a prophet. Because his teachers taught him that the last and final messenger, there will be 3 signs that will prove that this is really the man. Sign number 1 is that he has a birthmark between his shoulders on his back. So Salman started going to the Prophet ﷺ and creeping around him, trying to get a glimpse of his back. And the Prophet notices this man kind of very bizarrely walking around him. And so the Prophet understood what he's looking for. And he unveiled his back to reveal the birthmark, sign number 1. The second sign is that the Prophet ﷺ does not accept charity. So Salman comes and says, "O Prophet, this is charity that I want to give to you, right? To help you run your affairs, to take care of your family affairs and whatnot." So the Prophet ﷺ said, "I don't accept charity. Why don't you give it to someone else?" Sign number 2. Sign number 3, and this is the point of today's video right here, that the Prophet accepts gifts. He doesn't accept charity, but he accepts gifts. So Salman gets a gift and goes to the Prophet ﷺ and said, "Here, this is a gift to you." And the Prophet accepts it. And that's sign number 3. When Salman saw that all 3 signs played out, he got to the Prophet and he accepted Islam and showed his love and his respect to the Prophet ﷺ. But my question I ask you all, think about this. Why doesn't the Prophet accept charity, but he does accept gifts? Well, there's a reason for that. The goal of gift giving is very important to relationships. So it's as though the Prophet accepts gifts because it's a necessary part and an important part of building relationships with other people. The Prophet wasn't just someone who preached. He wasn't a very formal man who you don't have access to, who gets on the pulpit every Friday, says a few words, and then, in order to talk to him, you have to wait in a long line and make an appointment and all that stuff. No. The Prophet was a people's man. He walked the streets like everybody else. He was approachable like any other person. This man was so integrated in his community that when people would come and look for him, they couldn't tell him apart from the average individual because he looked exactly like them. He sat exactly like them. He was between them. He was one of them. In order to be one of them, he built relationships by accepting gifts and by giving gifts. Alayhi salatu wassalam. And our Sharia teaches us, tahaddu tahabbu. Give gifts to one another and you will build love with one another. And the Prophet ﷺ says, "Tahaddu, فَإِنَّ الْهَدِيَّةَ تُذْهِبُ وَعْرَ الصَّدْرِ." The Prophet ﷺ encourages us to give gifts to one another because giving gifts to one another helps purify the heart. It helps remove ill feelings towards one another, resentment, jealousy, hatred towards one another. Give gifts. It's part of building relationships. And you look at advertisements, when you look at jewelry and whatnot, how is it always presented? The advertisements are always the same. Give this gift to your loved one. Because we know, we human beings, in order to maintain a relationship, we have to give gifts. It's even an integral part of Eid. You give gifts, and it's important because giving a gift is not about what you're giving. It's about what's behind giving. In fact, you have to ask the question, can we really maintain a relationship with someone else without giving them any gifts? Well, maybe you can retain acquaintances, you can retain small friendships, but big friendships, there has to be some amount of gift giving. Even if that gift giving is inviting them for some dinner, you're gifting them a meal in your home. Even if that's conversation, a kind word, hey man, I'm going to spend some time with you to just have some fun with you. That's a type of gift. Right? There's something behind gift giving that is very unique to relationships, very important. It's what's behind the gift. It communicates to the individual, I care enough about you that I went out of my way to try and purchase something for you that is relevant to you, convenient to you, that is something that you want, and to give it to you. That says a lot, and it's important. In fact, sociological studies show that we only give gifts to people we intend to build a relationship with. Right? And so you even in the business world, when you want to build a partnership with someone, you give them gifts. Right? So how many gifts have you given to your loved ones? When was the last time you gave a gift to them? And when you gave a gift to them, how did it improve your relationship with them? So I ask you all, put in the comments, what was the best gift you ever gotten? And when was the last time you got a gift from the loved ones around you? So what can we do? Some practical measures to gift giving and making sure that when we give a gift, it helps towards this goal of strengthening our relationships, strengthening our families. Well, number one, give gifts on occasions and after accomplishments. Your son graduated, your daughter graduated, give them a gift. It's pretty standard practice, right? On Eid, give them a gift. On a certain occasion, wedding anniversaries, give them a gift. Mother's Day, Father's Day, give them a gift. Why? Because when you give a gift on an occasion, it ties a memory, a very particular memory to that gift. So every time you see that gift, it sparks back a memory that is cherished by you, that is beloved to you. So that gift now is not simply an item, a collectible that you have on your dresser or somewhere in your home. Rather, it is part of your relationship to that other individual. It reminds you of the good times to help you build that relationship. Another way we can do it is explain why you're giving them the gift. Oh, my son, oh, my daughter, my wife, my husband, I'm giving you this gift because I appreciate you. I'm giving you this gift because I love your presence in my life. I'm giving you this gift because you helped me out the other day. I'm giving you this gift because when I was down, you lifted my spirits. When you do that, you tie emotions to the gift, and it becomes more special. And the Prophet ﷺ, he would always go out of his way ﷺ, to clarify why he does things, to tell his people, I did this for XYZ reason. It's part of making sure the other person understands where this is coming from. And last but definitely not least, gift reward to people who are deceased. We're very familiar with this concept. I go do Umrah, and I'm doing my Umrah to give the reward to my parents who passed away. I'm doing Umrah to give a gift to so-and-so. Now, what do you think is going to happen when you do Umrah on behalf of your wife, on behalf of a deceased individual who is beloved to your wife? Your wife's father passed away. You do Umrah and say, oh, my wife, I did this Umrah and I gifted the reward to your father. How far is that going to go? It's going to go very far. And that's how the Prophet ﷺ engaged his loved ones. Khadija radiallahu ta'ala anha, years after passing away, the Prophet would continue to visit her friends and to give gifts to her friends. And the Sharia tells us among the ways of being good to your parents is by being good to the friends of your parents, giving them gifts, giving them, visiting them. That goes a very long way. Gift giving is part of Islam, and it is a prophetic way. The Prophet ﷺ accepted gifts and he gave gifts. Let's be more like the Prophet so that we can build those healthy relationships that we desperately need, that is essential to our happiness. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us al-tawfiq. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Assalamu alaikum everybody. Thank you for watching. If you're finding benefit in these videos, remember that every day throughout the month of Ramadan, we'll be releasing a new video. Our goal is to build a stronger family, especially in our times today when the family unit is really dissolving. It's so important for us as Muslims and to serve as a role model for all of humanity. Share these videos, like, drop a comment, and we'll see you at the next video. Bismillah.